Buddy, hello, hello. I was looking, I dropped a die on the floor and I can't figure out where I dropped it. Oh, there it is, right under my foot. Excuse me a minute. Happy Friday. I hope everyone had a great week. Good week. Looking forward to the weekend. Gonna have some crafty time, I hope. All right. Hi, Shalana. Hi, Brandon. How are you guys all? I'm going to get my remote out of the way here. So very, very white I look like. Hi, Luann. Hi, Mama. Hi, Kate. Hi, Penny. All right. We are going to make another Halloween card because, you know, I love Halloween. And I'm going to make a take on my other card, the card that I had in my picture. And we're going to change it up a little bit so you can see how you can make it with the Halloween. It's going to have a Halloween sentiment, but you could change the sentiment very easily. And it could be a different type of card using the same products. Okay. Or most of the same products. Hi, Karen. How are you? I'm going to go ahead and switch to my table here quick. Hi, Jamie. Yes. Happy Friday. All right. Where am I going here? All right. So we're going to do a little bit of die cutting first, or I did the die cutting. We're going to put a little bit of stuff together. I have a small bundle for you guys today. And in the bundle, it is the Fabulous Flower Cutting Die. I have two of them because I love this die so much. And when I cut things out, I want to be able to cut out multiples. So it's 13 pieces. So it looks like this. I got to get this mouse out of my way. Let's get this up here. This is in the bundle. I have some brass chroma mist in my bundle, which I was supposed to use last week and I forgot. Some pastel chroma glaze. I'm trying to remember what else is in there. And the funky label cutting die. I know that for sure. I know that's the main bundle. Oh yeah, and aubergine cardstock. These envelopes, Amazon. I can send you a link, Shalana. I get them all off Amazon. I get them in different sizes. I fell in love with them when I saw Christopher had them. I mean, you can just go on Amazon and get any, but I have specific ones I buy. I have some that are this size. I have some that come with the magnets inside. And then I have big ones. And then sometimes I just buy the magnets off Amazon that are adhesive and stick them to paper. But I love them. I'm switching all of mine to these because they last very, very well. So, but yeah, I can send you a link or a ping with the link, Shalana, and I can put it down below. I don't have it in front of me right now to the specific ones I buy. So anyway, that is our bundle and it was 40 something. Let me go peek. I apologize. I forgot to look at it before I left today. Where's my Brutus Monroe? Brutus Monroe is not on my, can you believe it? Brutus Monroe is not on my most used. I don't use the computer this much. This computer that much. Okay, let's see if I can put it in here quick. I'm going to stand up. You're going to see me get real close to the camera here. Friday night. I was going to write it down and I forgot. That was last week. There it is. It's poison apple. So we got lime pastel chroma glaze, the fabulous floral cutting die, the funky label cutting die, poison apple cardstock, and the brass chroma mist for $43.46. Okay, we're going to use all of that tonight. I do have some other things in the Candi Live collection that we're going to use tonight, but they're not in the bundle. Thanks. Yep, I will definitely get them for you. I started getting them last year, and because I found my regular envelopes were just starting to break with as many times as I was opening them. So here's my big ones. So I will get them, and I will find the link. If anyone else wants it, I can post it in the Brutus Monroe fan club group. So tonight, we are going to use the Halloween Glow stamp set. It is sold out, but we're going to use a couple, one of the stamps here. So, but you can use, we're going to use this one tonight. I use this one on my sample, but we're going to use this one tonight. So just a web die or any kind of background. You can use, like I said, if you didn't want to make a Halloween stamp, any kind of background. But first we're going to make our flowers. And I cut the flowers out of aubergine cardstock. And I cut 2 of each of the middle-sized daisy. And I cut 2 of these, but what happened to it? Maybe we'll have to cut another one. Oh, I should show you what we're making. This is what we're making. Kind of. We're going to change it up a little bit. First of all, because this glaze is no longer available. So we're going to use a different glaze. And we're going to use the different, I'm going to swap this color around. I might still use that stamp. I haven't decided. But this is our project tonight, okay? So let us get that put out of the way. I had really a lot of fun playing with this. Oh, here's my other flower right in front of my face. So all we're going to do is grab some glue. Let's throw our dies in here so we don't lose them. I did try to do almost all my die cutting out ahead of time. Under the cup, yes. Thank you. Okay. So all we're going to do is take a little bit of glue, which I switched out my glue, and last night I did not attach it properly, so I had a big glob of glue. Oh, you know what? I almost messed this up. Let's take that glue dot off. First thing we're going to do is take some Stellar ink or any kind of purple ink, and I'm going to use a blending brush. And I do know these are out of stock right now, but you can, I believe, sign up for notifications, the number 8 brushes, but just a blending brush. I love these. I have both these, the little bitty ones and the little 4-inch ones. And then I have the regular blending brushes too for this little bit. And then I don't know if I want to use the little ones are about the same size. I'm just going to add a little bit. We're just kind of adding a little depth to our project. There we go. Okay. So that's all we needed for that. Super easy. And then I don't clean my brushes. I just wipe them off a little bit and I put them away. Okay. Hi, Miss Annie. Oh, I don't know. Miss Annie, my sister, she was going to check out tonight and see Instagram. She knows what that means. I am trying to attempt. I don't know last week if I went live on Instagram. And I asked her if she'd go peek and see. I don't know if it looked like, because it didn't show up for me afterwards. So I don't know if it is. I might not have done it right. So, okay. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue. And then I'm going to grab my my pickup stick here. And I'm just going to rotate them a little bit. And the reason we got to do these first is because we're going to spray them and let them dry. Okay. Thank you. I might not have done it right. I didn't really investigate it a whole lot. So, and I don't know. I think it just says YouTube up there, but I don't know. It's okay. I'll figure it out one of these days. And then we're going to glue these two here. And I just offset those two. Okay. Then this one. Okay. Thank you. This one we're just going to leave because we're going to put a gem in the middle. But these two we're going to put our center. And I used some Raven cardstock to cut the middle of those out. And we're going to go ahead and just glue those down. And then we're going to spritz. Now, you don't have to use the brass. The brass is in the bundle. You can use any of the shimmer mists that you have. If you have like one of the older ones, the Angel of Night, or the Copper Shimmer, or the Sunrise, Ornamental Gold, will all be perfect. But we're going to use the brass. The reason I think I used a different one on my original one, and I want to use the brass this time. I just want to make sure that I'm going to show you. See that you can see all that shimmers in the bottom. We need to make sure it's inside. So I'm going to make sure my lid's on real tight because the other day I shook one up and it splattered everywhere because my lid wasn't on. And I mean, some people roll them. I don't care. I just shake because I don't really ever have any clogging issues. And if I do, I just soak them in a little bit of hot water. You just want to make sure you get a lot of that shimmer. And this happens if you don't use them that often. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, just get, like if they set, not often, but like they settle. after if you haven't used them in a while. And if you shake them every once in a while, I know I think Amy R has like a nail polish like shaker that she got off Amazon, and she put some of her spray bottles in there that have like this in them, but I just figure I'll shake it myself. And like I said, it takes a little bit depending on how often you use it. And then I always spray my off to the side before I spritz. Now it's a little darker over here for me, so I can't quite see with my box. So I'm gonna see how I did. Okay, those look pretty good. Let's get those out of there. So let me bring it up close. So I just had to spritz them. I just wanted to add a little bit of texture and shimmer to them. Okay, so I'm going to leave those to dry so that we can add those to our project later. And then we're going to start. I did already cut my label out of the aubergine cardstock, and I did the little tab out of the poison apple. So like I said, we're going to do this a little backwards tonight. And if we get done a little early, we can do something else. So my tag is right here. I'm going to go ahead and grab. Oh, that's not what we want to do first. First, we have to do our glazing, right? Where's my card base? So I tried to clean up my desk and everything a little bit last night, and I did, but because I have everything out for tonight, it's still a mess. Tomorrow, I believe, tomorrow is the Halloween glow class, so I do need to get cleaned up for that so I can actually like participate and not have a mess. I'm excited for that. I kind of forgot that it was there. So I just took some cabbage cardstock and I cut it in half, and then I cut it down to A2 card panel size. There you go. Thank you. There's a paint shaker. Yep. And then I am using the Nocturnal Glow stencil. This is a stencil. I put it in my collection, but this is part of the Halloween box. It is available separately. And we're just going to put this up in the corner. Do I have water in my thing here? I do. Okay. And I've got the pastel chroma glaze. This is the pastel lime chroma glaze. Any glaze will work for this. You can use the glitter glaze. You can use the chroma glaze. You could use the chroma opaques. You could use the sand paste, the grunge glaze if you got that during Fireworks freebie. I mean, even embossing powder. All we're doing, and you can use any color you want. I'm just going to use a little bit of the lime green pastel because it's going tone on tone. And I will show you the difference because I did one that was, like I said, with the grunge glaze earlier. So if you got that that was available as a freebie during Fireworks freebie, Fireworks Frenzy in July. Because I was playing with it last night, right? We got to use our stuff up. And then I'm going to take this off. We're going to and I just did a little bit in the corner. It didn't have to be perfect. Pull that off and throw this in my little stencil bin behind us here. There's not a lot of water in there, so I'll have to make sure I clean that tonight. And then pull this up a little bit. Just going to wipe this off like this. Maybe we'll get that done right here. And then through the magic of television, we go from wet to dry. And this is what it looks like. So I'm going to put this one aside to dry. I've got my little tray here that I use my wet stuff for and move it aside. And so the green is great on the green because it's really, I just wanted a little texture. So if you did not want to do a Halloween card, you could do stars, you could do dots, you could do any pattern you want up here. And I'm just doing a little bit to add a little bit of texture and fun to our card. And then this is like I said, if you got the grunge glaze, that's what it looked like. Or you could use like sand paste or a chroma matte will be dry like this, where it's more matte versus the shiny. So you can see those. So you can go tone on tone, or you could do a completely different color. I actually am kind of liking this tone on tone. Then what we're going to do is I use some of the Halloween Glow paper pad. And it's got all these fun, jack-o'-lanterns, and there's bats, and there's skeletons. So like if you got this and you weren't necessarily a big Halloween, like let's say you, I don't know, you got it as a gift, or because if you're not a Halloween fan, you might not have bought it. But if you got it or you won it or somebody gave it to you, there's also this star pattern. So for my first card, I used this one with all these beautiful rainbow. And these are all foilable, of course, with our overlays. But I chose this one because I thought this would make it, even though we've got our bats, we're going to kind of go a little bit, you know, more for any purpose type card. But I wanted to still make a Halloween card. And I'm just going to cut down. I think when I cut this down before, I needed it to be a little bit smaller. So I cut this to 2 inches, 2.25 inches. So I think this time I'm going to go down to 2. And then we're going to put that right here. And the reason I did it before is I didn't have room for my sentiment down here. And then for a little extra fun, we're going to add a little bit of that aubergine right here. So all I'm going to do is take a piece of my cardstock here. This is just another A2 panel. And I'm just going to cut down about 1/4 inch. It's not super important how much. I think that might have been a little, my sample might have had a little bit bigger of 1/4 inch, but we're going to do 1/4 inch. Okay. So here's the basis of our card. And you can go up a little bit higher so you can have the purple, or you can go down lower so you can have the pink at top. It just kind of depends on how you want. I think we're going to put ours up so we get that little bit of purple. And then that is our card base. And then we need our tag. And our tag is going to kind of go in right in about here. Okay. There's going to be a little bit more purple on this card. Hi, Cordelia. How are you? Like I said, this is the funky label. Oop, I froze a little bit. There we go. The funky label tag. And I cut it out of the aubergine. And here's where if you did not want Halloween, you could stamp this with anything you want. You could cut this out of patterned paper that coordinates. Let's get our stamps because that's the sentiment I'm going to use tonight. So we're going to put this in here. And I was originally thinking of using the web. And I'm going to lay it on there just to look and see what I think. But I don't know if I want to do the web. And I wanted to make sure I stamped it off. Now, I think the web is kind of fun, but I think I'm going to go back and use this tree. If you got the Halloween glow or you were able to order the stamp set, you could use any of these stamps tonight on this. The jack-o'-lanterns across the bottom would be fun, but I'm going to go ahead and use this tree again because it just kind of screams spooky to me. And I'm just going to lay it up. And what I did is I laid it up so that my tree was going off the edge down here. I'll see if you can see that. It's kind of hard to see, but I layered the stamp. So the stamp is actually kind of at an angle and off the edge of my die cut. And the reason I did that is because, you know, you could die cut it after you stamped, but I wanted to stamp it. So I'm going to use the Black Widow Stellar ink tonight. You can use the Raven ink, but I thought it was just fun to kind of mix it up a little bit. It's a little bit different black. And I have it on my desk. We could have heat set this with some embossing powder too, and that would make it a fun little extra. Let's see here. I'm going to do just another little bit here, just because this is still fairly new stamps for me. Last night was the first night I stamped them, so I have a little bit right in here where they're still, because it's a solid stamp. And so that is my little tag. And let's wipe that off with a cloth and some squeaky clean. I am using, what is this one tonight? Pumpkin roll. I hope, does anyone have any fun plans for the weekend? I've got some crafting to do. Obviously, I'm going to take the dog for a run in the morning like I usually do. In town this weekend is the car cruise, which is the annual. So there'll be a lot of old time cars in town, and then they go out for a little cruise in the evening. But And that's just up the street from me, but with the dog, I can't take him up there to walk because if we run into people, he'll jump on them. So I'll probably just stay home, but I'm okay with that. Okay, so now this is the thing about doing, where do I put everything? There we go. Here's my card. Let's start putting our card together. So I'm going to go ahead and eyeball that down. And so instead of making my tag as a tag and adding ribbon, I'm going to cover it up with those flowers we made. So let's go ahead. Oh, I want to use the purple, so I almost had it upside down. We're just going to put it over so I have enough room for my Happy Halloween tonight because, like I said yesterday, when I did this, I did that. Vet appointment. Ooh, fun. Outer Banks. That'll be fun, Shalana. Enjoy. Get some sun for me. I have a vacation coming up. I am going to go crafting. I'm going to see my fellow design team member, Sandy, and some friends. And my mom and my one sister are going to come down from their location and see me because I'm just about an hour or so away from them. That will be my vacation coming up in October. And then I'm just going to add that a little bit. I'm just making sure it's straight, but I want a little bit of the green to show. And then I'm covering up a little bit of that pattern paper just for add a little bit of fun. So this is kind of a card you could use with any pattern paper and any cardstock. Like I said, I added just a little texture. If you're not a glazy person, you could just do some ink blending. And that would totally use that too. And then we've got our little tag here. Now, what I want to do is I do want to pop this up because I want to put a lot of dimension here. So we're going to use my foam tape. And all I did for this one is I just did one big piece of foam tape. And then I kind of looked on the edges and saw that it was just kind of over and cut it off. It's a little bit bigger. And I didn't care that I covered up that circle because it's not going to be seen. We're just going to peel that off. And actually, before I do that, we're going to stamp our sentiment. So I'm going to flip this upside down because I had trouble with my sentiment last night because I did the same thing, and then it was too thick. So let's stamp our sentiment first. All right. Take that tape off of there. Okay. So we're going to use the spooky Halloween, and I'm going to go ahead and put my plastic down. Because I don't know if my stamp is clean. I'm just going to go, I think we're going to go up a little bit higher this time. Right there. I better take this other piece off here. Let's see. Is that, I'm going to look. That is straight. Okay. How long did you have vacation, Solana? Maybe you don't want to say. Just the weekend, a couple days. You would deserve it. You're a hardworking girl. And then I'm just going to go ahead and use that same Black Widow ink. I think the other reason I thought I had to use this ink is because Black Widow just reminds me of Halloween. Because we're going to put some spiders on our card here. And then I'm going to just wipe that off. I got to go the other night when Tom and I went out to the family out in the country, and I got to ride on the tractor with him while he did some mowing. That was kind of fun. I will not recommend wearing a dress though, because my dress was slippery, and so I only had a little seat to sit on, and I was trying to hold on so that I wouldn't run into him or fall into him and then gear bass. But that was really fun. We had a really pretty sunset to look at. It was nice to get outside in the evening. Before it's really too cool. Well, I mean, I like it being cool. And then, and just, we didn't have to be really dressed up very well. I'm going to use my scissors to kind of move my greeting along. It says Halloween greetings. Oh, that probably sounds, that's the way it works, isn't it? A little bit of work. My stamp set came from the same stamp set I used last week, the No Place Like Halloween. I did put that in the Candi Live collection. Like if you would just look for Candi Live, it would be there. I'm sure Penny could grab it otherwise too for us. have no good way of sharing links during my lives except for our dear sweet Penny. So that is the basis of that. Just like I said, you can change this out to happy birthday, change this to some dots, and you could do other stars or something like that, and you'd have a little birthday card using the same exact method. You could even use the same colors. Put some balloons on here or some packages. And I'm just going to cover this up at a little bit of an angle. That's why I wasn't so worried about my glaze. And that is the basis. Now we got our little flowers here. They're pretty dry. I mean, it dries pretty quickly when you do just a little spritz on them, which is kind of nice. I'm going to just kind of floof them a little bit with my fingers. I mean, if I was to hand do this, you could floof them a lot. If you're going to put them in the mail, they might not be the best at, floofing because they'll get squished. And I just have some old squares on my desk here that I'm trying to use up. So I'm going to go ahead and just plop them down. I don't have any leaves cut. I didn't cut any leaves for this. I do like this paper a lot too. Thank you. Thank you, Shalana. I was looking at it last night for the first time, and I'm like, I love the colors and the brightness, and then the pop of the black with the bright rainbowy colors. So you can kind of fudge this around a little bit, and we're going to do a little something different with this. I have never done before, but I'm going to take a little inspiration from Nicole Spohr. I think that's how I say her last name. She does a lot of tags, and I watch her videos sometimes on YouTube, and we're going to just do a little bit of fun. So I'm going to pop this little tiny, you could do it anywhere you want. I'm going to put it over here. And then we're going to grab this is the Violet Shift. You could use any of them you want. The Hematite would work, the Violet Shift. I just happened to be whichever one I grabbed. The Violet Shift has a little bit of a purple hue to them. And I got to shut my ink pad here. And I'm going to put one glue dot right in the middle of the center. And then I decided these two webs here on my other card, I'll show you those up there. See, there's two webs there. I actually decided we're going to put a dot right in the center, and I decided to put a gem there to represent a spider. I thought that was kind of fun last night when I was playing with them. And then that gives me my 3 odd numbered gems. So we've got one there. And we're going to put one in the middle there. We've got one in the middle there. I mean, you could add more, of course. And then there's one little thing that we're going to add that we have to make it. Because I happen to have it left over from last week. And I put it on my sample, and I loved it. Okay, oops, an extra gem floating in here. All right, I don't know where he went to, but he's there somewhere. Okay, so there's the basic. This is where you could stop. If you wanted to attach it to a card base, you've got a great Halloween card. I mean, it didn't take very long other than this part for drawing. You could mass produce these pretty quickly, but like I said, if you ink blended this, wouldn't take long at all. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take a small piece of Raven cardstock. I'm going to see how small can I get here. It's hard to see it in this black. This will work. And I'm actually going to take the Stellar Black Widow ink. And I'm going to go just ahead and stamp it right direct to paper because it doesn't matter. I'm just going to it's very juicy, and that's why I'm going to use it. And we're covering it up anyway. Okay. You could do this for the centers of your flowers and then have sprayed your flowers before and put this on after. And we're going to take my favorite Halloween embossing powder, the Scowleen. And because Simon Hurley's inks take just a little bit to dry, you can see it's still wet on there, especially because I put a lot on. I'm going to go ahead and just make my own glitter paper here. And then before my fan gets too wild, because it is warming up down here, it was almost 90 degrees today. It was 87 when I looked at the clock, or the bank earlier today. And we better get that. You could use some splatter would work on here too. That's one great thing I think I've said about Halloween cards. Splatter is fun because you can add it to anything for Halloween. That's why I wanted to do maybe some spritzing on my flowers. Quick heat set this. Never gets old watching heat setting. Okay. And then while I let this, oh, I think I forgot a spot right here. Yep. Have to make sure it's all shiny. You got to twist it in the light to make sure it's all shiny. All right, there we go. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I've got to grab it. You have to forgive me 1 second. Oh, did I lose it somewhere? I had it sitting out. Let's see if I left it up here. Yes, I did. So hopefully in your stash you can find something. I am using a die from last month's Halloween box. But there are lots of other, if you have Halloween, you could use bats, you can use whatever, a butterfly, you can use black butterflies. I'm just going to go ahead and we're going to cut out some black bats. I had one left, like I said, from last week. And when I put it on my card, I just thought that was the funnest little extra touch. And grab one of these guys out here. Stick that off to the side. Grab a pokey tool. I'm going to poke him out. And I have, oops, I just fell on the floor. Got one little bat here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bend him up like that. Kind of hard to see with all the black background. Just going to bend him up. And I'm going to add just a tiny little glot of glue. Oops. So my glue is not saying straight on my thing. I might have to check that out. And I'm just going to add him to my flower. And I'm going to hold them there for a minute. And that is our card. Now I know we're done a little early so we can play a little bit. But there we go. So you can take this and use the jack-o'-lantern type patterns. Like I said, I know they're both Halloween cards, but you can see how you can change up just a few elements with this pattern paper. You could change this to, like I said, a dot. And maybe change this to some balloons, and you could put a Halloween greeting down here, and you would have a non-Halloween card, which, since we have time, we can make. If you guys are okay with that. Are you good with that? Should we make a version of this that's not Halloween? Let's go for it. We'll use everything the same, except we'll use a different stencil. We'll use last month's stencil of the month and a different stamp. Okay? All right, we're going to put this off to the side. Let's go for it. I have the stencil of the month, I believe, right here. We can still use the same pattern paper. We're going to use this. Oh. We're going to mix it up. I'm going to use this stencil, which came with the inspiration box last month. With that, we'll have the stars or the stripes, and we'll just mix it up just a little bit here. And I'm going to go back to original purple. I think I had a piece of that paper already sitting here, right? Yes. Let's cut that down. My mama even says it's pretty, and she doesn't like Halloween. It is fun. Shalana, that you showed all those beautiful girls, which was just amazing. So I've got my little base. Now, instead of, like I said, I think I'm going to do the polka dots. Instead of doing ink or the paste, because we don't have time for that to dry, I'm going to go ahead and grab some of my purple ink. And we'll just go in and we'll just add some polka dots. I'm just trying to be careful that I don't get into my, because I didn't mask off my non-polka dot spots. I may have to grab another die. You may have to forgive me to go grab a different die because I have a different idea. And then we may run over a little bit, but that's fine. I don't think anyone cares. And then I think what I want to do, we're going to actually mask this off quick because we have some time. I'm going to mask this off just a little bit here because I do not want any of the stripes. Let's go here. We'll go down a little bit further. It's going to get covered up, but okay. So there's our purple. So doing tone on tone, it's kind of like we did with the glaze. Obviously, you could totally do a purple glaze. We got our purple polka dots. Look at how cool this was. Like I said, this stencil came in last month's stencil of the month, or I mean inspiration box. We can cut this down, like I said, to 2 inches. Which, since these are 6x6 paper, you can make 3 cards out of one piece. What paper? I am using the Halloween Glow, Shelly. This was in the Halloween Glow box, which our class is tomorrow, but it is available separate on the website. And it is, I have it on my collection. But I am showing how to go from, Shelly, this was my sample, and this is the first card we made, how we can go from having a Halloween card to having something else. Now, I got to grab a few things here, but I think I know where they are, so it shouldn't take too long to grab. We're going to do a little extra die cutting tonight. And because I want to keep that purple, I'm going to grab that purple and leave that still at the bottom because that's where we're kind of tying our purple into. We're going to put this in here like this. And I'm going to go ahead and grab and see. I don't know if I got that on straight. It doesn't look straight, does it? No, it's not. That cut must not be straight. Well, we'll make sure this is straight. And we're going to cover that up anyway, right? So we'll just cut a trim off to make sure it's straight. And then we're just going to do about, let's see, where is that at? Let's do, that looks like about 1/4 of an inch. I'm just doing like 1/4 of an inch strip. Okay. And then we will grab this and put a little glue on. And what I do is when I use my tape runner, if there's a little glue on the extra, I just rub it off. It's one thing I like about my ATG gun is that I can just put this on and line it up. And look at how fast that was. That does not look straight either. So let us line this up. Line it up, make it straight there. Yeah, that paper was not straight. Okay. Well, we're going to move it over a hair. And we're going to use this one to line it up. We're going to line it up right there. That's a little better. I must have cut that really wonky. I must have had it off just a bit. Well, now it's good. Okay. So yeah, I just rubbed that extra off like that. Okay, I got to grab a couple things quick. Give me 1 second. Because I'm not sure what section of the house I put it in. All right. I was able to grab my pick tool that I dropped on the floor too, so the dog didn't get it. Okay, I grabbed the birthday box had, I believe, the candles and balloon cutting die, and then it was available. I do not know if it's available now, but I am going to use it. I hope you guys don't mind. We're going to use those 2 balloons. And then for our sentiment, we're going to use from the Pink and Main Sweet Birthday Bears. I think we're going to do happy, happy birthday to you. We're going to stamp directly on here. And then, of course, we need to cut our panel out here yet from our funky die. Don't know if this goes in my small die cutting machine. Nope, it's a little too big. So I got to go to my big cutting machine. I'll be right back. I got to go over here off camera. So I have this. Now, I'm not sure. Thank you, Penny, for that cutting die. I can cut those out of the aubergine cardstock, which is what we're going to do. I'm going to cut one of each. There is strings too, but we're not going to use the strings. Do I have one or two sets of this? I just have one set of this. I actually have the lots of balloons, and they're a different shape. So I'm going to use one of those too. That's one I bought two of. Bunch of balloons. I think this one was a freebie, and then I think it was available. But just any balloon die works. You could do stars. You could do the flowers that I used on my last card. I'm just kind of mixing it up a little bit to show you a different version. Stars, because you got these stars here, you could tie more stars into it. I just thought it'd be fun to add some balloons. And then what we're going to do, we should have done this first. It won't take long. We're going to put these quick in my splat box and spray them with that same brass spray, right? Because we want to add some fun. There is a brass chroma mist or chroma glaze as well that you could use instead up here. Now we need something on here. And I think what we're going to do, don't have any kind of birthday stamp set close, but this one. So we're just going to use this one. We're just going to stamp a little birthday bear on here. And instead of using the one with the balloon, I'm going to use the one with the present. We're just going to stamp him on here. And I think, yeah, we're just going to stamp him on here because we're going to cover that up a little bit. Just kind of do him at an angle just to make him fun. I'm offsetting him a little bit. I am going to go back to that same Black Widow ink though. Or actually, let's just use our Raven ink. We'll just use our Raven ink tonight. I'm not going to color him. You could color him. You could die cut him out and stamp him on, but I'm just kind of trying to show you how you can do the same. There we go. I have a little dip in my Misty. So sometimes my images get kind of crazy. So we've got that. Let's stamp our sentiments while we're in our Misty. I normally do all my stamping first. I do all my coloring. I try to do it, but you know, when you do a live sometimes, especially on the fly, it gets a little. I'm just going to do happy birthday to you. We better take him off of there before I make a mess. Happy birthday. And you could obviously hit this with some embossing powders if you wanted to give it some shine. I forgot I told you I was going to put something else on that other card that I haven't done yet, that I didn't do in my sample. We'll go back to that at the end. Cut this down here. Thank you very much, Penny. There's the link to the live. If you are not a subscriber and you use the code Sugar Cards by Candi, you will get a small discount off the items that it is eligible. And that is like an affiliate code, which just means I get a little small kickback. If you use any of the links in the description box below, it is, which I think there's only the one right now, it is an affiliate link, which just means I get a little kickback for that, but it doesn't cost you anything extra. And that just helps me bring you content. I did not say that before, so I apologize. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. Where'd my foam tape go? Go ahead and pop this up. This time I think I'm going to go this way a little bit because it doesn't matter if it shows. So I can slow down a little bit. We have lots of time. We're going to go ahead and put this on, and we're going to do it at an angle again. And I'm only doing it kind of really to cover up where that really cut off. And I mean, we have some time. We could probably color him in a little bit. And the nice thing with this stamp This was from our CYOE ending. There was a blending buddy or a little blending stencil that you could use. He did different, for his little face. So you could do his different face in different colors. So maybe we'll add a little color to him. But I'm not exactly sure how it's going to look because it's on green. So let's try it. Add a little pixie spray quick. Since we have a little extra time, and that lets our balloons dry. A little pixie spray just to keep that present colored down. I'm loving when you can get a stencil to color in instead of just color. I love to color, but we're going to try ink blending with this. And we're just going to grab some Simon Hurley inks. I'm going to grab Gur. Oh, there's no brown. Let's make him a darker green. No, not green. Let's try yellow. Let's see what happens with yellow. We can always color it over. This is a good time to experiment. Got some extra time and see what happens. Just going to add some yellow to him. It's going to make him a little greener. He is going to be a little greener, so we might end up adding the brown after all. Let's see what it looks like. Yay, he's a little green. We're just going to make him brown. I'm okay with that. I mean, it works, but I don't want a green bear. So, because he might look sickly, we'll just add a little brown to him. This is just a little Gur. It'll mix in with that yellow. It'll be just fine. And we're just going to make him one color tonight. We could make his little nose, I could make his little nose even darker if I really wanted to, which I can just go in with a little bit more, but I think he'll be fine. And then we got his little belly, which is this one. And I'm going to try to very carefully just add a little bit of that brown to it. I don't want to add a lot, just a little color. He might stay a little green. Thank you, Penny. Hey, Susan, happy Friday. Thank you. We're Susan, this card's kind of a fly-by-night kind of one. We had a project and then we're adding some more stuff in. And thank you. You can use the link that she did below or in the description of the video. Thank you so much, Penny. I appreciate that. Like I said, I wasn't sure how much time. I did a little prep ahead of time, I guess, and that made it. We had a little extra. We're going to leave the bow green, but we're going to make the package purple. Okay. And there's a little package thing there. So let's grab that little 100% juice. And we're just going to make it purple. Like I said, this is a colored cardstock, so it's going to be a little different than if you just had white cardstock. But it's going to work for me. I think it looks okay. Now let me pull you up. See? So fun. It was real quick and fast. Oops. All right. Now we got our little balloons here. Now I'm thinking the balloon's looking a little sad, just like this. I'm thinking we got to have the strings. What do you guys think? Thinking we got to add the strings. Right? That's not going to be too much extra. So let's grab, I don't think I have enough of this to make it. Yes, we do. We can do this. Let's cut our little bats off. We'll cut the little bats off. We don't need a long string, right? We just need a little bit of a string. So let's put this guy here. We're just going to kind of fudge it a little bit and make it fit because, I mean, it's happy accident. It's working for us. And we'll do a little bit of this fun scowling, which will add a little bit of glitter. Always use up your scraps and your glitter scraps, right? All right. So grab our pokey tool here. Get that out, and I will show you what it looks like. You can go a little bit down here. And we've got this fun. Look at how fun this little bow is. You're not going to necessarily see it on all of them, but we might put our little things so we can see them. Let's quick cut out 2 more. We'll make this one a little longer, just because we have the little extra space, and then we'll make one little short one. So sometimes just using what's on your desk can make for a fun card. I mean, it's just paper. So yes, and tomorrow I will try to go in and grab the links and add them to the description box. I don't know if I'll have time tonight after I'm done. I think I have a work call that I have to do yet. I think I had a call right before I went live and said, can I talk to you after 8 o'clock? Because I'm going to go live. Well, I'm about to go live, I said. And they said, sure. So, and if anyone knows, good evening. You're okay, Sean. I'll take it from Christopher. What does he always say? Take your note to the front of the room. We are doing a fly by the seat of our pants bonus card because we had lots of extra time. And so we're making a separate card that's using the same products for the most, same color scheme, but doing a non-Halloween card. And Sean, I haven't got a chance to tell you this. I'm coming to meet you. Hi, Miss Heather. I'm coming in November, Sean, for Crafty Day. So I hope it's on your calendar. I got it worked out. So I am coming. So hopefully you get to. Yes, he just got here. Heather just got here too. So Heather, this is a bonus card using some products that I just grabbed out of my stash. And to kind of show what you could do if you didn't want to make a Halloween card using the same products. The same basic products. I mean, obviously you're not using Halloween products, you're using birthday products. Awesome. Well, it was just official, like official, like this last week. But I was like, Tom, is it okay if I go? Do you care? He's like, no. I'm like, woohoo. So I'm going to go see my mama first the night before and then come down, and then I'll go home that night. All right, we're going to use our bigger foam tape for this one. And like I said, we're going to just kind of pop these up. And we got to pop them up so we kind of fill in our space. And we're going to kind of try to pop them so our little cords go together here, our little things. Okay. So yay, we got to, you know what? Sorry, I'm not leaving anybody out personally, but we do need to get in touch with Jill and let her know. Because she does not live that far away. She actually would be living halfway between where my sister is and where we're going to be. So we got to tell Jill. Thank you. Okay. So we're going to put the big guy down first. We're going to kind of put him, I think I'm going to put him right in here. And then we got this guy. And all I'm trying to do is kind of get my cords to kind of line up here. You could do multiple color balloons as well. I'm doing all one color balloon. And then we got this guy, and he can go right in here. And that is the basis of our fun bonus card. Okay, now I did say I wanted to do something else to my regular card. So this is the card we made tonight. This was our sample. This was our mixed up version where I flopped the colors and the glaze. And now for fun, what I want to do is I'm going to grab some whipped honey in the clover. Now you could use, you know what? I'm going to lime because we're going to use part of the bundle. Where did I do the lime chroma glaze? I am going to take this chroma glaze. I don't know what this is going to turn out like. Thank you, Jennifer. But we're going to try it. And somewhere here, I know I have I have one of the small blending brushes. I'm going to grab a little bit of this. And I know I may not like it this way, so I may have to change it. All we're going to do is we're going to dab a little glaze. Nope, I don't like it like that. Okay, let's wipe that off. Where's my palette knife? So Nicole Spore will grab like white a lot, and she will go in and she will add it like to make it like snow when she makes her Halloween Christmas cards. We're going to add a little bit of this green to just some fun kind of like, I'm going to make it like Halloween flocking, if that makes sense. I'm just adding it to the tips of a couple of the flowers just to add some extra little fun colors. So I'm going to leave this one alone. And then tomorrow I will take a picture and I will show you what they look like, difference with it dry on here. And you can add as much or as little as you want. But I thought it was kind of a fun idea. I was thinking about that last night. I forgot to add it. So I thought it'd be fun to add it tonight. And like I said, I'm just using the tip of my knife and then just adding a little extra color to the ends. You can add as much or as little as you like. So I think that looks good. I'm not going to add any more. If you have some of the glow in the dark chroma glaze, that would be fun. You could also dip it in some embossing powder and heat emboss them before you put them on. But if you did, because some people don't want to do messy glaze, I say go for the messy glaze because it's fun. But you could do the tips with glow in the dark and chroma glaze, and those tips of those flowers would glow. So there we go, you guys. It's just a couple minutes early. Like I said, here is what the card we made tonight. Here is our sample card. That you could totally do the same thing with this and add a little bit of that fun. We'll just add a little to the tips. See? You could add a little bit of that to the tips of the balloons. Thanks, Penny. And it's just kind of a fun little thing. I kind of forget about it and until I'm watching, like I said, I watch Nicole make her Christmas cards. She adds white, like I don't know, texture paste. I think the chroma glaze works really well. Glitter glaze would work to add some extra little fun. I'm just trying to be very careful to get it just on the tip of my, but I think the key is getting it just on the tip of your palette knife. And then you can just get it on a little bit. There we go. Oh, we got a little too extra. Let's go. We got a little crazy here. I'll just wipe that off. And fill it in and then go off the edge so that it kind of goes off. There we go. Thanks. Thank you, Sean. Thank you. Ooh, I put it on top of each other. Well, I appreciate you guys all joining me tonight. Like I said, you can check out the bundle if you want, or the collection. Penny did put the bonus card things in the collection so that if you wanted some of those items, you could get them. I appreciate you all hanging out with me. Next week, hopefully we will play with something sweet. I've got a package that's in the mail, so it's coming. It should be here on Monday with a bunch of fun stuff. And we will see you all. Have a great weekend, you guys.